So if that's okay, we'll get on. I'm not sure.
Can I bring this closer? Does it bother you, Rebbe, or doesn't
What is
bother you?
that?
Does it bother you? Rebbe?
No, if it helps you, it doesn't bother me.
Sorry, I must be the one.
I'm just a little confused here. I think something's supposed to work, but okay, I think that was working.
Okay, let's try to.
Can anybody on the Zoom tell me if the screen
It's
is
already cooler than
is a
this.
diagram now?
No.
No, it's not. Okay, so we'll have to. Okay, we'll have to do some juggling then. Usually there's a way to do both of them. I'll try one more time. Oh, now it worked. Okay, now it should work. Now it's showing a diagram, right?
Yeah.
Oh, here it surely it does.
Yeah.
Question is if on the Zoom they do also. So the Mishnah talks about the woman who has property and she wants to sell it. And that would be affecting the husband because the husband has the right to have the profits of her properties, which means we call it payros usually. So if a woman has a property, so the Karen, the principal belongs to her, and whatever profits it brings in goes to the husband. Of course, just to point out a small thing that the Gemara doesn't say that I found out that of course all the expenses that have to be for the upkeep of the property comes out of the profits. Means it's only considered profits. Means if you have a building and it's bringing in rent, but then there are expenses to take care of the upkeep of the building. So then surely that comes out. That's not called that. It's not called profit. Only whatever's left over after the expenses. You got a side point. But anyway, the case of his, we're talking about if a woman has the right to sell the property in a way that the husband's not going to have any more payros. He says, I have a right to have the payros. So therefore, he doesn't want his wife to sell the property. The Mishnah is going to talk about a few cases. I use the color code to say when it's permissible and when it works, when it doesn't work. We have here a green, an orange, and a red. Sounds like, but I didn't mean that. It came out like that, but I didn't intend that. So the one case is going to be that she acquired the property before the erisin, and before she would, again, the two stages of marriage is erisin and nisuin. Erisin means the Haret Mukadeshly gives her a ring, a Shabbat, but they don't live together until the nisuin. That's when she moves into her husband's house. Nowadays it's all done together, but used to be with a big interval in between. So the case is that she acquired the nechasim, the way the Mishnah talk about that she got a Yerusha. For instance, any way that she got it, but she got an inheritance. So that's when she acquired it, and now she wants to sell it at the time that she's already in Arusa. Another case is going to be that she acquired it after she's in Arusa, and she wants to sell it during that period that she's still in Arusa.
And so why does it say Erusin?
Erusin, I'm sorry, it's a mistake. Erusin, it should be a resh.
Erusin, okay.
It should be a resh. Yeah, I can't fix it now.
Okay.
Maybe there's a way to fix it, okay? Second case is that she acquired it while she was already in Arusa, and she wants to sell it also during that period. There's going to be other cases further on that she got it during the Erusin or before the Erusin, and she wants to sell it after the Nisuin. And the most extreme case is that she even got the Nechasim even after the Nisuin, and she wants to sell it. That's just an outline of what's happening in the Sugya. She's acquiring the Nechasim and she wants to sell it. And the Mishnah is going to talk about when she has the right to. Maybe sometimes we'll say L'chatchila she may. Thank you so much. Just from this end. Thank you that L'chatchila she may, or maybe L'chatchila she may not, but with the evidence if she did, it works. And sometimes even with the evidence, we're going to allow the husband to come to the buyers and say that I have first rights and therefore the sale is null and void. So if we can do that, we'll go now to the Gemara. And, is that showing on the screen on the Zoom? Is that showing now the Gemara showing on the Zoom on the screen? I just have to know if I'm controlling it correctly.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. So in the beginning of the 8th parak, I find Ches, and the Mishnah starts. A woman who inherited property before she was in Arusa. She wasn't married at all. No Erusin. Before the Erusin. And of course, it's talking about now that she wants to sell it when she's in Arusa. She wants to sell it before she's in Arusa, so then the husband is not here at all. So this will be the first case that we said. Everybody agrees, even though Beishamai, we still have my focus in a minute, but everybody agrees, even Beisilo, that she's allowed to Lachatchila sell it. She could sell it, she could give it as a present. Bekanya means that it is binding, that it works. Of course, you don't have to say that it's binding. If you say that even Lachatchila, she's allowed to do it, you don't have to say that it works. But later on, it's going to say sometimes that she may not sell it, but with the evidence it works. That's why the Mishnah goes to the trouble to say Bekanya. Really, right here, the word is not necessary. We could have just said Mecheres V'Nosenes. She's allowed to sell it. She's allowed to give it as a present. So just to jump to the chart a second, that was this first case. Aisha Shnachlu Nechasim before the Erisin, and now it's after the Erisin. So green light, she's allowed to sell it if she wants to, even Lachatchila. Next case, Mishnah Sarsa. This is the yellow case or the orange case that she acquired the Nechasim after the Erisin, and she also wants to sell it now before she gets the Nisuin. In that interval of the Erisin, she got it, she acquired it, she got a Yerusha, and she wants to sell it. So Beishamai says this is good as before. Beishamai gives a green light. Beishamai Yomim Timkar, even Lachatchila, she's allowed to sell it. Beisil says Lachatchila, don't sell it. Beisil Yomim Lo Simkar, don't sell it. Usher to sell it. We tell the woman you're not allowed to sell it because you're going to be taking away the right of the husband to have the benefits of the profits. But even Hillel agrees that, but the evidence if she sold it, that it is a valid sale and the husband can't complain. Just look at the chart for a second if that helps.
Which means
This
really even the Hillel.
Even Beis Hillel, right? The Chiddush even Beis Hillel, right? Here's the case of Mishnah Sarsa. Beishamai says also Lachatchila you may sell, but it still says Lachatchila don't. But if you did, then it kind. I made it
Why do
orange.
you say even Beit Hillel? It's your Beit Hillel.
No, he's the one.
There's no difference if father or anybody else. There's no difference. If you get, no, I'm saying if you say you're not allowed, when they say you're not allowed to, so that means you can't give it to anybody.
Okay, but it says if it is, it's Fakayim. So what does that mean?
Fakaya means that it's binding, right? Means, but yeah, not only the father.
So she gave it away, then it's given away.
Yes.
Oh.
That's what it says. Not only the father, anybody, a stranger, anybody. She's allowed to sell it and get money for it. What does she do with the money? If the money is still around, so then the husband will say translate that into.
Well, no, right, but I'm saying if she wants to sell it and give the money as a present, or just not even take any money, she could do it.
Right. Or she could get the money and go on a cruise and spend it, in a couple of days, and but the husband has no right to stop the sale. He can't nullify the sale.
Stop the marriage.
Seems to be making a difference between selling it and giving it away.
It says the Mishnah says no difference. The Mishnah says Mocheres V'Nosenes. Both of them it says either one.
But in the Misha Nitzarsa, they don't mention lieutenant, they only mention team core.
Timko, even Lachatchila. Okay, I hear it doesn't say Titem, but in Beis Hillel it does say Shemach V'Nos Nakayim. So I don't think they say. I hear a point. Mike is asking why it doesn't say by Beishamai Timko or V'Titem. I don't know,
Also,
but probably just to be short. But it's understood. There's no difference.
The difference be if you could sell it, you should be able to.
Right. So I'm agreeing that even though it doesn't say, that's what it means. That it's shorting. It's on this. Once it says one time Mocheres V'Nosenes and Mocher V'Nosnos. So here also probably means Timkor V'Titem. If she wants to, she may Lachatchila. It still says Lachatchila you may not. Low Timkor and also low Titem. But with the evidence, if you did, Mocher V'Nos Nakayim. Even they still holds with the evidence. If you did sell it, it's a valid sale. The husband can't back down, can't nullify it. He can't say, I'm here and you're disturbing my rights. And even though Lachatchila we would tell him don't sell it, but if she did, the sale is valid. So we have already
Does the
the,
husband get the money?
no, it's her money. Whenever if she comes in with money, so then we'll tell her, yeah, now that you're in the marriage with money, the Mishnah is going to say soon, next Mishnah, tomorrow's Mishnah, that if the woman has money, so she has to translate it into something that can generate money. You can't just leave it in a safe. In a safe. The husband has a right to make profit out of it. But-
Out of her money.
Right.
So in the case of no tenant, the husband gets nothing.
Right. And even by Mocheret, then what does she do with the money? She might go on a cruise. Whatever other example you can think of, how to waste a lot of money in a short time. That she could use a lot of money in a short time, and then she comes to the marriage and she doesn't have any money. So-
A few times the Beit Hillel is not.
Very nice. Does ask the kasha why is not there's a list of Mishnayos and Edios that says about Chumrei Beis Hillel, Kol Beis Shammai. It's not there. Tais talks why it's not there. You could say it depends who's Tais talks about whose angle you're looking at, the wife, the husband.
No.
If you say that you're not allowed to sell, so you're saying that it's a chumrah in the husband's eyes, but to the woman, but to the husband, he's happy. So maybe that's not called a leniency or a chumrah. Okay, that was the second case. Before we go on to the third case, the Mishnah continues. I'm Rabbi Yehuda. I'm Chachamim Lefnei Rabbi Gamliel. Hol v'zach bisha lo yiska ben achasim. Rabbi Yehuda says that there was a discussion that the Chachamim asked Rabbi Gamliel that since the husband, by the erisin, he already acquires the wife. It's his wife now. By the erisin alone, so it's his wife. So should he not get the property? It means the Gemara is going to explain that it means that even with the Gemara is going to not see it's not so simple. But he's complaining. But the Chachamim are asking that the husband should have a right to stop it in any case.
In which case now? In the case where you did it after the erusin? In this case, yeah.
In these cases, either surely lachatchila, he should be able to stop it, and even with the Gemara is going to say he wants that it should not be a good sale. In the Mishnah, you might say he's only asking that how can anybody say lachatchila you may in this case, or Beishamai in the second case.
Well, it was before he even had anything to do with her. Why wouldn't it be hers? What was the question?
The Gemara says the erisin is considered that he's acquiring her. So when he
once it passes that line,
so once she's erisin, so now he should be able to stop all the sales. At least stop it lachatchila. Maybe even with the evidence, should be able to stop it, and it shouldn't be a sale. Like we see later on, there's going to be a case after the Nisuin, it's going to say that even with the evidence, it's going to say that it's not a sale. So they asked Rabbi Gamliel in these cases also, since he had the erisin, he was zocha and the woman, so shouldn't he be able to stop the sale? At least lachatchila, maybe even with the evidence. So he told them back, Amar Lahem, Rabbi Gamliel replied, we're even embarrassed of the new case. The new case means the last case. The last case here is the red one, that it's new property. She got it even after the Nisuin. That's like the most extreme case. And even that case that we say that the sale is void, we stop the sale. If the husband goes to the buyers and says, I'm sorry, my wife wasn't allowed to sell it, then it comes back to me. That halacha we're embarrassed about. It means we said that that's the halacha, but we, as the sages, the chachamim, we're embarrassed about that. It means it's not with the strength that we come and say, yes, it's the husband's and you have to give it back. We do it. We say that's what's supposed to be done, but we're not so happy about it. It seems the whole thing is rabbanan, but they made a takana that the husband should get what he's expecting. And it doesn't. I learned the Gemara today, one daf only, and I didn't see that the Gemara really explains why they made such a takana. But because really it seems like the husband doesn't get Paris only with if the wife has a property. If she sold it, she sold it. Like as long as she has it, she has it. If she doesn't have it, she doesn't have it. Like how does he have the right to stop her from selling? So even in this most extreme case, we're also embarrassed
it
about
came to her after she was married in
Yes.
his house,
Yes,
the husband's house.
but it's her property. He has a right to have Paris. And now she wants.
It's her property.
Yeah, it's her property. She doesn't.
I thought everything she acquires,
No,
only the Maisiyadeh.
Mashadam, Mitziyasa, Payros.
They're all hers.
No,
Those are the things that aren't hers.
right.
But this finding is her. No,
It's not a finding. This is the Yerusha. The Yerusha, you got a Yerusha, let's say. So that's how the Mishnah starts with the first word. This whole
Naflu means the Yerusha.
right. So it belongs to her. If someone gives her a present, also it belongs to her. That's not an earning. It's not a finding. She has ways of having property.
Oh, I thought it was a finding.
No, so all these cases, if there be a finding, then it goes to everything belongs to him, and she has nothing to do. She can't
So
do
it's from a
anything.
Yerusha
Everything is
or a
that the
gift?
property, the principle is hers. The principle is hers. And the question is only that the husband, since he has rights to have the profits, he's able to stop the sale in order to continue eating profits. That's a very big chiddush. And Gamliel said even in the most extreme case that she acquired the property after the Nisuin, also we're embarrassed about this halacha that we made, that he has the right to stop the sale. So you want to even tell us that these cases also should also be like, that's too extreme. This
The Chadashim is what the
this
first
case,
case.
right? This case, the red case is the
That's the
chadashim.
last case?
Right, this case is the
It
chadashim.
means what? It's new.
It's
since-
new after the Nisuin. The property that just came now, and even that, which is the most extreme case, also we're embarrassed about it. So the cases where she had the property before, so she sold it before the Nisuin. You also want to say that the husband should be able to nullify the sale? Surely not. Naflula, this is now the red case.
So I'm sorry, so in the words, Amar Lahem al
Allah Chadashim Anu Boshim, we're embarrassed about the new properties. Allah Shatam Magalgal and Lenos Hayasham, you're also rolling on us the old ones. You want to roll this also onto us that we should have to say that over there also that the sale is void. Even the case in the new case that the sale is void, we're not happy about, but we say so. But in the case that the property is already hers before,
That's like a bit new.
yeah. The third case is the red case. Also on the diagram it was red. If the property came to her after the marriage, so then everybody agrees that even with the evidence, if she sold it, the husband can come and take it away from the buyers. That's this case.
If
the little
she
case.
sold it after
If she acquired the property after the Nisuin
and sold it,
and sold it, yeah. So
then
the
they
husband
can take
comes,
it away from the
buyers,
motiv kochot. Okay.
that she sold it. The husband goes to the buyers and says, my wife wasn't allowed to sell it. And even post facto, also, I'm taking it back. Okay, everything's good. The Mishnah continues. This goes back, this is on the diagram, the next case. She had acquired the chassan before the Nisuin, and now she wants to sell it after the Nisuin. What does it mean before the Nisuin? Either case, Rashi says either case, either during the Erisin or even before the Erisin. One of these two cases, she has the property before the Nisuin, and now she's selling it, she wants to sell it after the Nisuin. What's
Is
the,
it a brisa or is
this is the Mishnah, we're in the Mishnah,
Oh, it's not in the
we're reading the Mishnah. I'm happy you're enjoying the diagram, but
Yeah, I'm actually very fascinated by the little dots.
there's the case. This is the case. Yellow. He has orange. Yellow. And I didn't have an orange color. If she acquired the property before the Nisuin, either during the Erisin or even before the Erisin, but it was before the Nisuin, and now Nisays, now she did the Nisuin, now she wants to sell it. But this is like made it orange. This is the case of she shouldn't, but if she sold it, it's a valid sale. On this, Amr Chanina ben Akavia, the same question as before, but Reb Chanina ben Akavia has a little different version than Reb Yehuda had before. Let's scroll back a second. Before was Reb Yehuda who said this discussion of the Chacham and Rabbi Gamliel, and here it's Rabbi Chanina ben Akavia who has a little different version. He says that they asked him on this, that it's since now that this case would be interpreted, now that he married her, shouldn't they did the Nisuin? Shouldn't he get the Nechassim? Means shouldn't it be void? Just like here, that he could nullify the sale. So this case also, once the Nisuin happened, he should be able to nullify the sale. And he told them that even this case, we're embarrassed. Even the case where she acquired it after the Nisuin, and we say that he could nullify the sale, we're embarrassed about that. So you want to say this case also on the Yeshanim, this is the Chadashim, that she newly acquired it. So in the case before, where she had it before the Nisuin, you want to say that case also. It's enough that we said over here we can take it back. We're not going to say in the other case also that he can nullify the sale.
We were saying Zacha B'Isha means the after the.
Yeah, the Nisuin, right. In the new case, we're embarrassed about. You want to say that the old case also, even the case where she bought it before the Nisuin, you want to say also he should be able to nullify. It's enough that we made one takana that the ones that she acquired after the Nisuin over there, the husband can nullify the sale.
What does it mean? The Chachamim want to give her more shoot to what she wants?
She really would have a right. When I didn't, she has a right to sell it. This thing seems to be at the Kanas Chachamim that they stop the sale, either lachatila, sometimes even b'diavad they stop the sale. And that's like a Takanas Chachamim. And really, it's hard for us to do. When I didn't, she has the right to sell it because he doesn't get the Paris. He gets the Paris. What does it mean he gets the Paris? He gets Paris if there's any Paris. If there's no Paris, because she doesn't have a karka, she sold it. So she has a right to do it. But the Chachamim stopped that right for some reason, which I'm not sure yet what it is yet. But either lachatila sometimes, b'diavad, one case.
Why are they embarrassed? This is their own takana.
No, but it means that they make it the kana, but they did it kosher. They did it with difficulty. Means they can make it the kana sometimes. You have that concept sometimes. The koshi tiru levakecholem ulenachem avelim b'Shabbos. If someone goes to visit the sick, the Chachamim said it's mutter on Shabbos, but like the koshi, like it's difficult to go with that. The person goes into a state of tzaras. He's getting nicham avelim, so he goes into the house of mourning. So it's not easy that Chazal permitted it, but they said we have to permit it because of the need that the person is sick or the person is arvel. So you're allowed to be menachem avelim on Shabbos, but it's difficult here also. It's difficult. We did it, but it was with difficulty. Now you want to say we should make even a bigger takana.
In the case where she sold the property, she sold the field, let's say, she gets the money, and the husband can take the money, and it's still the wife's money, but he can use it just like he could use the field.
That's
so
true.
He could buy a business with it and make
Right.
off the
So that's what it's going to say, that if she comes in with money, so then we translate it into something that can generate money. It's going to say that, but here she could take the money and either the case of giving it away, there's no money coming back, or the case of selling it, she could spend it now.
She could eat it up.
She could eat it up. How do you eat up so much money? There are ways. People know ways how to spend a lot of money in a short time. That means you're
But
saying
it's
in a
not-
case,
it's not-
sometimes.
It's not hers to spend. It's just like the field is hers, like if the husband dies, she gets the field. the husband gets the fruits of the field, meaning he works the field,
And he gets the
he gets the
profit.
fruits. So
Right.
he takes the money, he controls it, just like he controls the field. He works the money, he works the field. It's even, it seems, it
Right, but
seems
it-
reasonable, but when she gives it away, it's like she's giving away his field where he would
Right.
want to earn the fruits from
Right,
the
so,
field.
so it's not really his field, it's her field. And as long as she has a field, he has the rights to generate profit from it.
Right.
But if, that wouldn't necessarily mean that she doesn't have the right to sell it. As
But
long as,
in the field, she could say to the husband, I don't want you to work the field. I want all the
No.
fruits to die.
no, she gets, no, as long as she has it, so he has the right to generate profit from it. But that wouldn't necessarily mean that she could stop, that she cannot sell it. As long as she has the principal, so then he generates profit, but she would be able to sell it. What do you do with the money? That's true. If she has money, so we'll tell her to invest it in a way that it also could generate profit. That's true. But that's only if she has money. Either she could spend the money. And
Why should she be able to spend it? That seems like a different issue. If she has the money, the husband controls the money. He owes her the money, just like he owes her the field. If he dies, she gets the field. If he dies, she gets the money. It seems equal in that sense.
the payers that he is allowed to, this money he's allowed to get is surely only after the Nisuin. Means nobody questions that the actual profits that he gets is only after the Nisuin. We also made a takana that she shouldn't sell it even before. That's these takanas over here. She shouldn't sell it maybe. But the actual eating of the fruit is only after the Nisuin. And even that, if she doesn't have it because she gave it away, so she would have the right.
If she comes into the marriage with a bank account full of cash.
Right, so
How
we'll
does
tell her,
that
that's
work?
gonna be the next mission, tomorrow's mission is gonna say, we're gonna tell her to invest it, either put it into the savings account, don't just keep it in a safe
And then he
deposit
gets
box,
the fruits.
and then he gets the fruit, right, but now the discussion is, could she just get rid of the principal?
It seems like a very different case, to give it away or to sell it.
So the more doesn't see a difference, the same thing, and then the question, of course, when she sells it, she gets money, so if the money's still around, we'll also tell her to reinvest it.
Right.
But she would have the possibility of spending it in a way that there is nothing to invest.
But that's the part, right, so.
That's her character, that's her principle. The principle is hers, the profits are his. And the subject is, does she have a right to do with the principle what she wants to do? She'll tell him, my dear husband, all the profits are yours, but only if they are profits. But there's a principle that I'm the one who makes the decisions. And that's what we're talking about, if she has a right to sell the property. And the Mishnah ends off. Rab Shimon Cholek ben Nechasim leNechasim. Rab Shimon says there's difference between what kind of property, which he explains right away. Nechasim hayidun lebal lo simcha v'mrocha v'nas lebatel, but she'enan yidun lebal lo simcha v'mrocha v'nas lekayim. It makes a difference if the husband knows about it. Does he know about the property? It sounds like something tricky, but the Gemara is going to say why it's not tricky. But here it says that it depends if he knows about it. If he knows about it, then even b'di'evet, if she sold it, the sale is void, which is the case in the red case. The last case, he said that this case in the red is only if he knows about the property. She sold it and he knows about the property. He's aware of this property that she owns. So then, even with the evidence, if she sold it, we'll say that the sale is void. But if it's a property he does not know about, even though l'chatchila she should not sell it, if she sold it, it is valid. So he's arguing on the last case, l'chora, and that's the words over here. He differentiates between different types of property. If it's known to the husband, then she should not sell it, and even if she sold it, it's void. But if it's not known to the husband, she also should not sell it l'chatchila. But if she did, it's a valid sale. So we went through the Mishnah,
Mishnah and Rabbi Gamliel are two different people, right?
right?
Mhm.
The question. Ma'ishna Reisha, the low pligi, Ma'ishna Sefer the pligi. What's the difference between the first two cases? The first case where she had acquired it before the Erisin and now it's after the Erisin, or the second case where she acquired it after. Ma'ishna means, in other words, Beisilo. Beishamah does not differentiate. Beisilo does differentiate. How come in the first case he didn't argue? He said even l'chatchila she's allowed to sell it, green light. And in the case where she got it after the Erisin, l'chatchila she may not. But the evidence is good, but what's the difference? What's the difference? How come she may not l'chatchila? The word schusa seems to mean the Gemara in whose jurisdiction, like you'd say Bereshusha. The Mishnah uses the word zacha ben nechasim. So the Reisha that it fell, when it fell to her, when it came to her, was in her jurisdiction. That's why even l'chatchila she's allowed to sell it. The second case, when it fell into his jurisdiction. The Gemara calls it at this point his jurisdiction. It's the husband's jurisdiction when after the Erisin. The Gemara right away jumps up and says it's not his jurisdiction. If you call it his jurisdiction, and even the evidence shouldn't be good. And he was saying that the don't sell it, but the evidence is good. So it's not called his jurisdiction. So the Gemara fixes it up a little bit. In the first case, where it fell before the Erisin, so it fell in her jurisdiction. He wasn't there. But Seifa, that it came to the time of the Erisin, that's when it fell to her. There's a side to say, I might say that it's in her jurisdiction, I might say that it's his. It looks like a suffix. We're not sure whose jurisdiction it is during the time of the Erisin. And therefore, don't sell it, but the Eved, it's valid. And the Mefarshim seem to say that's like a Moshe Mechaber El Baraya, that we're not sure. We're not sure in this case. Beisilo, of course, Beishamai says he may, but Beisilo says here don't sell it, but the Eved you may. The point is because we're not sure who's in charge of this property now, who has the jurisdiction. Again, the Raisa belongs to the woman until the Nesuin. But this new takana that we're making, that he has rights over it, did we give him the rights from the Erisin or not? So it sounds like L'chatchila b'diavad. So as long as she did not sell it, we say don't sell it. But once she sold it, now it's already by the buyer. So we're not going to be able to extract it from the buyer once it was already sold. So Beisil is machmer l'chatchila in the case after she sold it after the Erisin, l'chatchila don't sell it. Bottom line, I'm Rabbi Yehuda. I'm Rabbi Gamliel. Rabbi Yehuda asked, what's the difference? And the words of Rabbi Yehuda were, quoting the Chachamim, so what did he mean to say? So on the Mishnah, I small less said the Gemara, but he means to say, he's asking, why is it not the same as the case later on? So the Gemara is asking, is he being so extreme to ask that how even with the evidence shouldn't be? Abud is asking, the answer is going to be, we're embarrassed about this case. But what did he mean to ask? Abud said that the Chachamim asked Rabbi Gamliel that if, since the husband, by the Erisin, he acquired the wife, so shouldn't that also give him acquisition to the property? So did he mean to ask only l'chatchila? Is he only asking that Beishamai, or the first case over here, that how come he's allowed to sell l'chatchila? L'chatchila he shouldn't sell it. He acquired the wife, l'chatchila she shouldn't be allowed to sell it. Or did he mean to say that even with the Eved, he wants to say that everybody's difficult, that even Beisilo is difficult, that says l'chatchila don't sell it, but the Eved you may sell it, that you shouldn't be able to sell it even with the Eved. Even if he sold it post facto, also we should nullify the sale. What did Rabbi Yehuda mean to say when he said that they were asking Rabbi Gamliel that this is not true, this is not fair? It should be that he should be able to stop it. Did they mean to say that he should stop at l'chatchila against those, or against the green cases, or did they even mean to say that even the orange case also is not good? He should be able to stop at l'chatchila with the Eved. All these cases, even with the Eved, it shouldn't be a good sale. That's a question to figure out what Rabbi Yehuda meant. What is he referring to? The case of l'chatchila, she may sell it, and he's asking l'chatchila may not sell it, or he's coming to ask even on the case with the evidence, it's a good sale, that even with the evidence shouldn't be a good sale. So there was going to be a brayso that says openly that he's arguing even if he meant to ask even with the evidence shouldn't be good. Based on Rabbi Yehuda, since they're both the cases are his wife, the Nesua, the Arusa, both of these cases, it's considered his wife. It means the case of the Nesua, surely it's his wife. And over there we say, even the sale is void. So too, this case, he's also a wife because it's after the Erison. So also it should be void. So you see that he was asking very extreme, that even with the Eved, the sale shouldn't be a good sale. We weren't sure about what he meant to say. And the Brisa says openly, he meant to see that it should be mecher batel, that the sale should be void. Now we can think that's enough. It's enough already for our proof that he said that it should be mecher batel, it should be even void with the Eved. But let's continue. Same as our Mishnah. Even the case that she sold it after the Nesuah, she acquired it after the Nesuah, also we're embarrassed about. And you want to say even the case where she acquired it before. But anyway, what do you see? He wanted that the evidence shouldn't be good. Shramina, the evidence come Shramina. So we have a proof from here that he meant to say that even the evidence shouldn't be a good sale. End of that question and answer. We wanted to clarify what Rabbi Yehuda meant, and we see from the Brisa he meant to ask that even with the evidence shouldn't be a good sale, and the answer is that that's too much. We're embarrassed about that case. Even another case we're also embarrassed about. New Brisa, Tanya. I'm Rabbi Chanina ben Akavia. So we had Rabbi Chanina ben Akavia in the Mishnah, and here the Brisa is going to be quoting him a little bit more elaborate than the Mishnah quoted him. And he says, Lo kach yeshiva Rabbi Gamliel chachamim. This was not the answer that he said when they asked him, how come in this case you don't say, just to put on the chart a second, the way it's quoted is that they were asking on these cases that the evidence shouldn't be good. And the answer was, we're embarrassed about this case, so don't ask about this case. But now Rabbi Chanina ben Akavia is going to say that wasn't the answer. The answer was, this case is his wife. This case is not his wife. Then the Nesuah makes him with a wife. He has only Erison, so you can't compare the two cases. He didn't have to just say that it's embarrassing to make a takana more. There's a very big difference. Here you could say very logically that over here, she's not really a wife. She's not as much a wife by the Erisin than by the Nisuin. The Nisuin is going to give him much more jurisdiction over his wife. So the kasha the wife as it does later on. And the Gemara is going to talk about which ones those are. That's not what he said. He didn't just say that it's embarrassing to do that. It means really we should do it, but it's embarrassing. And he said the following: "Lo, it's not a comparison. These two cases of after the Erisin and after the Nisuin. The case of the Nesua that she acquired the property after the
I'm
Nisuin.
sorry.
Yes. The following is what he answered then.
Yeah, low.
Lo, no.
Oh, low, I see.
If you said that by Nesua that he has a right to nullify the sale, she came that the Nesua gives him a lot of rights. First of all, her findings go to him, her earnings go to him, and he has the right to nullify her vows. All this happens by the Nesua. So that's why they said that also he has the right to nullify the sale. What does that have to do with Erison? Erison, he doesn't get all those things. So he doesn't have jurisdiction over her. So it's not a kasha that he should be able to nullify the sale. He doesn't even have rights on other things also. That's a much less level of having jurisdiction over the wife. But then they told him, now we have Kalina Ben Akav is continuing what they did talk about. Amalo, they said to Gamliel, Rebbe, that's talking to Gamliel, Machra, they take out the word Machra, Ad Nises, that's all fine if she sold it before she got married. How about Nises, Vachakach Machra, which means he's asking about what did I do here? I got the wrong one.
This is still the brisa?
This is still the brisa, right? But first they asked him the difference between these two cases. If you look on the screen, that's what's the difference these cases. These cases with the evidence good, and the evidence good, and this case with the evidence not good. But then he said, no, big difference, because here there was no Nisuin, only Erison. Erison doesn't do so much. It doesn't give him the findings, the earnings, the Nadarim, but the Nisuin gives him a lot of rights. That's why in this case, the sale is void. So he asked.
It seems like he was saying that because we know that he has the rights after that, that's how we know that he doesn't have the rights after.
No, he's saying that you can't ask a question between these two cases. These two cases are very different.
He's showing the difference between them.
That even though you say the Erison, he acquires the wife, it's his wife, but it doesn't give him all the rights. But in the Nisuin, it's much different. That's why he has the right to nullify the sale. But now they asked him, how about this case? How about the next case on the chart? These cases that is also after the Nisuin. It's true that she acquired it beforehand, but now it's already after the Nisuin. So if the Nisuin gives him the rights to nullify it, so this case also, he should be able to nullify the sale because now it's already holding after the Nisuin. So it's true she acquired it before, but now once he passed the Nisuin, he should have rights on it. On this he said, and this he answered that we're embarrassed about this case also. You want to make it this case, but the first means there are two questions they asked. First, they asked the difference between these cases and this case. That's a simple answer. This is Erison, this is Nisuin. But then they said that if he's saying Nisuin is a reason to nullify the sale, this case also should be the same because it is passed by the Nisuin already. Then he had to say.
Excuse me, when it says, excuse me, Nases v'achar kach machra. Mahu, right?
Right. How about in the case where she
had already acquired it, though? We're talking
Right.
about your orange cases.
Right. That she got married and now she's selling it. What are you going
Now
to say about
she's
that
selling it,
case?
meaning that she acquired it earlier.
She acquired it
Earlier, and now
right?
she
And now
sold
she's
it
in a
at-
sewer. And now he
That's
already has rights about findings and earnings and
Mahu,
the Dorim. So
okay.
now let him stop the sale.
Okay.
Amalahu. So he answered on the Avzu. First he asked the question, what is the din? So we know in the Mishnah it said orange, right? And the Mishnah said that Lachachila don't sell it, but the evidence is good.
Mhm.
Here there's a problem over here, or maybe highlighted because there's here he said Avzu. He said the Allah is even Lachachila she's allowed to sell it. So we have to go back to the chart that what the Mishnah has had orange over here, these last cases over here, the Mishnah, he is in the price that says green. It says she's allowed to sell it. So he said, what's the difference? If it's after the Nisuin, why should you say she's allowed to sell it? Here he's not, he's not a nullifier.
Mhm.
The Gemara is an Estakasha, it contradicts the Mishnah. The Mishnah says that don't sell it, but the evidence is good. And here the Bryce says even the Chachili could sell it. That's going to be the Gemara's problem soon. But till then, the Gemara said, what am I doing? What am I looking for? The Gemara. Okay.
Bring the breasts.
Amulo. Oh, so now they said, you're telling me that even a lot of Sal Lachatchila, the Nisuin happened. Amulo, Hol, Bazach, Bisha, Leiskav, and Chasim. You say that the Nisuin does make him full marriage, that now he has rights on the findings and the earnings, etc. So now also should he not acquire the nechasim in a way that he should be able to stop the sale? So here's where you have to say this thing about the busha, not in other cases. Rabbi Yehuda in the Mishnah, he said that the question of the busha was on the difference between these cases. And Rabbi Chaim Ben Kavi said, no, that's not so. And here is a simple answer. This is Eresin, this is Nesuin, simple. But they did ask another question that in this case, it should be void. And in our Mishnah, it says that the Lachatchila is not good. The Brisa says even Lachatchila is good. And that's what they asked. And that he answered, you're right, it's after the Nesuin and it should be able to stop it if we're going to be consistent. But even this case also is a chiddush that we had difficulty to make such a takana. We're embarrassed about it. So we're not going to make it on this case also. Same words as in the Mishnah.
That's the
You only-
kasha.
yeah.
That's a question.
Right. Not a question. It's more like saying, like, leave us alone. Don't push us against the corner to be consistent. It's true. It's not consistent. But even the main takana, the most extreme case is also difficult for us to do because really it's against the rights. Really, she has rights to do all these things. We're making a takana against her rights. So leave us alone. We're embarrassed about what we have to do, but don't make us do more and be consistent. It's not consistent. It's not exactly consistent. The svara is that once the nesuin, then he should be able to, if you can nullify this case, you'll be able to nullify this case also. But this was bedochak, we're not going to do it more.
Is it the end of the
There's reason
brisa?
to say that you wouldn't, because the earlier she gets the.
Jurisdiction, she
Yeah,
gets the rights on
She
it.
gets it, the less it is in his possession.
But
I
why?
understand
Once-
after they're married, it came to her, so there's no question, but before they're married, there's clearly a question.
But the Gemara is asking that once they get married, so now his jurisdiction kicks in. What should be the difference?
I think it has to do with also expectations, no? Like,
Maybe.
when you're marrying someone, you know what she has, you know what you're getting.
Okay, so now he knows that she has this, and now he's getting married. He thinks he's getting it. In this case, it even fell to her after. I might say the opposite. Unless he knows that she has an old uncle, that's
He likes her a lot. She's the favorite niece.
Right.
I'm not sure. But that's the word at least of the Gemara.
That's the end of the brisa?
That's the end of the advice. And now the Gemara is going to go back. You might even say that it's a kind of a parenthesis. But let's make a parenthesis just to point out that it's a side point that the Mishnah said that these cases lachatchila don't sell, only the Yevet sell. And when the Brisa said over this case, Rabbi Gamliel said even lachatchila she could sell. So that's going to be a contradiction that we're going to deal with, a difference between the Mishnah and the Brisa. So here goes the Gemara. The Mishnah says in the case where she acquired it before the Nisuin, and now she had the Nisuin and wants to sell it, it says if she sold it, it's a valid sale, but it doesn't say lachatchila could sell it. So that's contradicting what the Brisa says in the blue. It says in this case, the Brisa said even lachatchila she could sell it. So the Brisa is against the Mishnah. That's the most kasha. So according to the Agirsa that we're reading now, he said change the Mishnah. You have a contradiction in the Mishnah and the Brisa, so change the Mishnah, which is not usual. It means it's changing the Mishnah from this orange, we're changing it to green. The same this case also lachatchila she may sell it. This case where she got it before the Nisuin, and now so in our Mishnah it says lachatchila don't, but the evidence is good, and in the Brisa it says even lachatchila she can sell it. So the guess that we have in our Gemara that Rashi says change the Mishnah, which usually you don't do. If you have a contradiction, Mishnah and the Brisa, change the Brisa. Changes says the guess in the Gemara should be the opposite. Change the Brisa to be like the Mishnah. That both of the cases, it's both places should say that the lachatchila she should not. Makes it a little bit easier. We'll see the continuation of the Gemara.
But Rashi says change the Mishnah.
The way it says in our Gemara, this text over here says change the Mishnah. To me,
Okay. Yeah.
change the Mishnah from orange to green. Don't say lachatchila don't sell it. But the evidence is a good sale. So even lachatchila she's allowed to sell it.
The Brisa and the Mishnah can't disagree.
They could, but the Gemara tries not to. Here, both of them are quoting Rabbi Gamliel. So you have to say, Smachlokas Rabbi Gamliel said, it could be, but the Gemara tries to avoid it. And the Gemara says so much to avoid it to change the girsa. And it's usually easier to change the girsa than the Brisa. The Mishnah is much more accurate and precise, and the Masorah is stronger on it. Papa offers a different way to reconcile the Mishnah and the Brisa. Lo kasha, Rabbi Yehuda, I'll leave it to Rabbi Gamliel. Rabbi Chanina ben Akavi, leave it to Rabbi Gamliel. That the Mishnah, the way we quote the Mishnah, that was Rabbi Yehuda talking. and we had the machlokas over here, Rabbi Yehuda and Ram Gamliel, how to quote the whole discussion of Ram Gamliel. So in this point, they're also arguing that the way that it said in our Mishnah was Rabbi Yehuda's quote. Rabbi Yehuda was quoted saying that Tachatchila don't sell it. And in the Brisa, Rabbi Gamliel is quoting it, and here it is going to be a machlokas. Means this comes out, like Mike was saying, that the Kriya machlokas, as Kriya machlokas, not of the same people. Rabbi Yehuda in the name of Rabbi Gamliel, and Rabbi Chani ben Akav in the name of Rabbi Gamliel. What did Rabbi Gamliel say about this case? The case where she acquired it before the Nisuin, and now it's after the Nisuin she wants to sell it. So that's machlokas if she may sell it, or only b'diavad she may sell it. The Gemara is right now going to ask a question. Let's look at the chart a second. That if you put this in the green, if this is going to be green, that even l'chatchila she can sell it in this case. That doesn't make any sense. But the Beis Hillel makes it orange over here. In this case, she's not allowed to sell it. So in this case, she's allowed to sell it. That doesn't make any sense. It's even before the Nisuin, and Beis Hillel says l'chatchila don't sell it. And you're going to say that in this case, where it's after the Nisuin, then l'chatchila she may sell it. That's what the Gemara is going to say. It doesn't read. Rabbi Chanina ben Akavi kibei Shammai. That's the most kasha. If he says that even in this case, it's mutter to sell, that means surely in this case you're allowed to sell. That means he's going to be Shammai. He surely cannot fit with that. You can't say in this case you may sell it, in this case you may not. So the Gemara says he denies the whole machlokus b'sham b'sel. He says there is no such machlokus. It comes out everything is green besides one red. There's no orange at all. This case is green. This case is green. This case is green. Only this case is red. That's how Rav Chanina ben Akavi is going to learn. The question was, the answer is nothing come out. There's no such machlokas. Period. There's a period over there. Now the Gemara says a whole new shita after the word zeh. And that's the Gemara says. Right. Now the Gemara starts. Rabbi Shmuel Dami Tavayu, a new shita, which is Amaro. Yes.
Nothing.
Which is Amaro. I'm talking now. Rabbi Shmuel Dami Tavayu. Both of them say. Ben shalach lo nechasa, mat shalo nesasa. Ben shalach lo nechasa, mishen nesasa. V'nises. Abal mosem yad al kuchos. Means in both these cases, if she got a Yerusha before the Eriston, after the Eriston, and now she got married and she wants to sell it, it's a red. Make the listen to red. That even the evidence is not good. Just like this case is not good, this whole case, even the evidence the husband comes and nullifies the sale.
Everything's red.
All this is red.
But not.
Not these cases. These cases stay there. But these cases that is after the Nisuin, which Rabbi Gamliel was quoted as, they asked him, what's the difference? It's Mishnah says. He said, we're embarrassed. It's enough. But according to this, Rabbi Shmuel say that this also, but the everybody can come and take it away. And that's the Gemara says, it's against the Mishnah, it's against the Brisa. Who's this? Where did this fall from? So the Gemara says, where was that? Let's get rid of that. Rabbi Shmuel said, no difference if she got the Yerusha before the Erusin or she got the Yerusha after the Erusin, but now she's already Nises. She got married, she had the Nisuin. And the Gemara's kasha is, who's that like? Come on, to look up it's not like either Girsa, either the Mishnah or the Brisa. One says, even the Chatchila she may sell it. The other one says, but the Evet she may sell it. And you're saying, even with the Evet, the husband comes and nullifies the whole thing. The answer is, there's a new shita. You're right, there's a new shita. In the Dami Kapusenu, they hold like the shita of Rabbi Seinu, our teachers, that was quoted in the Brisa. The Tanya, Rabbi Seinu, Chazir, and Nimnu, they made a new vote. The word Nimnu was like a vote. They voted again, and they made a new psak. So it's true that in the Mishnah it says that, and that was the original psak, but then they made it, and at first they were embarrassed to do more than that. And then they got the courage, and they made the takana, even in that case also, even in the case of the she had it before the Nisuin, even before the Erusin. If it's after the Nisuin, the husband can nullify it. So it comes out, according to this halacha, which used to be the halacha now, that all these cases, anytime she sells after the Nisuin, the sale is void. Even if she got it before. In these cases, she could sell it. This case, so now we have three cases. If it's before the Erusin, and now it's after the Erusin, but not Nisuin, even the Chatchila she may sell it. If she acquired it after the Erusin, she should not sell it, but the David she may. But it's after the Nisuin now, no matter when she got it, in either of these cases. But if she now after the Nisuin, and surely in the case where she even got to the husband after the Nisuin, in all these cases, even the husband could take it out.
Oh, it's both those cases?
That's what it says. Bain. How does it go? The Tanya, what does it say? Bain.
Bain Shenaflu.
before
before
the Erisin or
Oh,
after
I
the
see.
Erisin?
או בין שנפלו למישן ניסרס.
Was right after the Erisin.
וניסי
And now she
סבא.
has Nisuin. They both think that now she has Nisuin. The
מוציא
husband,
מיד.
the husband can take it back.
So that's a red.
That's a red. Change it to a red. The Mishnah continues.
Oh, I see. It's not that other case. It's just talking about those.
Again,
It's not the red case. It's just the orange case.
the red case is surely red. They say even the orange cases are also red.
Right, the Moraim seem to be more, less troubled by
The busha.
Busha.
But they said that they not only Amuram, Rabbi Seinu. Rabbi Seinu is a price at the Tanya. Rabbi Seinu, Nimnu Bush, Nimnu, and it sounds like they also was a later stage. Nimnu Chazru Nimnu means they made a new vote. So it sounds like a later stage. It could be first was a busha, and then after the busha settled down, so then they had the chutzpah to go further also. I guess people get used to the busha, or people get used they get used to the idea. Now it's so embarrassing already. Everybody accepted it already.
It's a
So
nice
it could be
the Busha, and
And then-
then wherever
later to know.
What is the busha?
They're embarrassed to make the Gezerah, so they should not.
They're embarrassed. The busha is to make the gezerah.
Yeah, to say that the husband can nullify the sale is embarrassing. The wife and the buyers are looking at their rabbanan like, what are you doing? Like, with what right do you come to take it? And they hold their face down and they say, yes, we're taking it away. Husband gets it back. It means, they shouldn't be able to. Like, of course, at the Kanasacham, they could do Hefker Bezin. Hefker Bezin has a right to do it. But it was Bekoshi that they did it.
I mean, that means they remade a new
vote.
New vote.
The Gemara continues, Mishanissus Eilu Beilu Modim, that if it happened after the marriage, then the husband could take it back. Even in the Mishnah, right, the red case. Lema Tanina like Tekana Susha. We have a brisa, which we learned this a long time ago. By Tekana Susha, Usha is the name of a place that the Sanhedrin, after they went out from Yerushalayim to Yavne, they went to Usha. They know what Usha is nowadays. Anybody, we spoke about it? Usha,
Yeah, we spoke about it.
yeah, Usha is near, okay, Pinchas Aram was
East
told
of
it.
Haifa, up there.
It's someplace over there.
Yeah.
It's on the line.
It's on the line with Haifa.
So they have the archaeological sites over there. So that was one of the places, stations of Sanhedrin. So over there we had a list of Tekana Susha. And it seems to be, our mission seems to be the same as Tekana Susha. Over there, I just point out, the Gemara over there said, where's that? Over there, the Gemara said that when you heard that Yosef Reb Chanina said this, he chazed it 40 times. He reviewed it 40 times to remember that's Yosef Reb Chanina. I wouldn't have remembered it. I looked it up. But it was so important to know who says something that he chazed it 40 times till he felt like it was in his pocket. Middle of the night, you wake him up. Who said this? Tekana Susha? Yosef Reb Chanina. They made a Tekana Nusha that if a woman sold her property, means the property that she owns and the husband has the profits, in the lifetime of her husband, and she died, the husband has the right to take back the nechasim from the buyers. So it sounds very much like our Mishnah, that if she's married and she sold the property, the husband has a right to take it back. Doesn't it sound the same thing? The Gemara says, no, not the same thing. Amish is talking about that in her lifetime. Everybody's living. She sold the payers, she sold the karka, and that husband doesn't have any income of her nechasim, no payers. So he goes to the buyers and says, my wife was not allowed to sell it, and therefore I'm taking it back, and I want to have the payers. That was the Mishnah. But in the Mishnah, even though he has the right to take it back, as far as the payers go, the sale is still a good sale. That means that he doesn't tell the buyer the sale is off. Your sale is on, but she can't sell my payers. So you own the karka, very nice. It's your. Till that was my wife's karka, and I have the payers. Now it's your karka, and I have the payers. But you can still hold on to the karka. What's it relative to? Relative to when the wife is going to die, so you will get it because you bought it from her. You bought it. But she couldn't have sold the payers, which I have a right to. So in the Mishnah, it doesn't go as extreme as the Tekana Susha. The Tekana Susha said that they nullified the sale completely. That the husband, even after the wife dies, could go to the buyer and say, it's my karka, it's not yours. Even the Yerusha. In the Mishnah, it just says that he has a right to the payers, but that doesn't mean that he nullifies the deal. The deal is, even though the whole time I said on the chardos, I made it red, I said the whole time the deal is off. We have to amend that a little bit. It doesn't mean the deal is off. It means that she can't sell the payers. Even if the husband comes and takes the payers away from the
This
lekuchos.
is ula payers, right?
Right.
What does that mean?
That only as concerning the payer. Only as concerning the payers. He nullifies the deal as far as the payers go. He tells the buyer, my wife had no right to sell the payers. The payers are mine. The karka is yours. The karka is the land, the principal is yours. She sold the principal to you, but she doesn't have a right to sell my payros. So that I'm going to take away from you. But stick around. And when the wife eventually dies, so I'm not usually husband yarshins, but now she sold this. I'm not going to yarshin. But Kanasushi made a bigger chiddush that he even nullifies the sale completely, and the husband's the one who's going to yarshin. That the whole sale, even the sale of the principal, the karka, also is nullified completely. So
That's
Kanasushi.
the first version. When Usha they did
Usha's
that?
later. Usha made it the Takana Susha was later than the Mishnah Takana. The Mishnah Takana was that the husband can nullify the sale of the payros, but the karka it still belongs to the buyer, and that's irrelevant to after the wife dies. The husband's not going to yash in that field because she sold it. But now Takana Susha said that the husband even nullifies the sale completely, and he gets the karka.
Well,
after
up
she
now
dies.
we're saying that they can hold on to the fields, but they can do the fruit.
Right. That's what the Gemara says.
Why does it say ula payros? It
As
seems like
far-
that's like it's including.
Well, the payros means as concerned as is concerning payros, as far as the payros are concerned. B'chaya the payros, as far as the payros are concerned.
Okay.
I would assume that when the husband, if the husband dies, it also goes to the buyer, to the field, and then the fruit stay with him.
Yes, because he has no rights to payros
Right,
anymore.
so
He
it's
has rights to
both if
payros.
she dies or he dies, but either one dies.
He has right to payros as long as he's alive.
He's alive,
He has right to payros as long as
Oh,
he's alive.
and she's alive, or even then, and if and
After he dies, he doesn't have right to payros anymore. But he yarshins the whole karka. Forget about the payros. Yarshins the whole karka. The
yeah.
yarshim are going to get the karka.
That's right. So
Did I say that makes sense now? After
Yeah,
she
so
dies,
he
after he
dies.
dies,
then
after he dies, then the karka is hers. And it goes to her yarshim. If the husband died in the wife's lifetime, so it goes to her yarshim. The husband is the first yoresh. The first husband yarshins his wife. The husband inherits his wife, but if he dies first, so then it goes, and then eventually she dies, her property goes to her yarshim. If they have the same children, then if they have the same children,
His
that's
rights
fine.
don't pass down to his children.
Right, they don't yarshim that far. Yeah, once the husband
the
dies, he
original
doesn't.
owner, therefore her children
Yashma,
will
yeah.
yours.
But here the Gemara says that husband nullifies the whole sale, and even after she dies, he tells the kluchos, he tells the kluchos right away, the sale is off. There's no sale. You didn't buy anything, not the payros, not the karka.
That's the Usha.
That's the usha. The Gemara continues. Rab Shimon Cholik ben Chasim. Then the Mishnah said that Rab Shimon differentiates between different kinds of property. It says if it's yadua, means that go to the red now. The red case that everything's off, but he says it's only if it's yadua, if the husband knew about it. But if he didn't know about it, somebody evidence a good sale. And now we're going to explain what's called that it's known. Which ones are called that it's known, what's called not known? Yadua means mekarkoi. Yadua means metaltali. Real estate is called that it's yadua. Real estate is called that it's yadua, no matter where it is. Karka is called that it's known to the husband. And the metaltalim is called that it's not known to the husband. And he's not taking it literally, known and not known. Karka is usually known. Metaltalim, you can hide, you can put it, no one has to know about it. But now Rabbi Yochanan argues, he says, no, it depends if it's actually known or not. It could be both of them, could be yadua. Even if it's metaltalim, if he knows about it, he knows about it. What do we mean to say that it's not known? That he doesn't know about it. That she's here in one country and she got a Yerusha in a different country. Even if it's karka, he doesn't know about it. And the court is no difference if it's metaltalim or karka. If he knows about it, it's called yadua, even if it's metaltalim. If he does not know about it, then it's even if it's karka. If it's someplace else, the yash and karka in a different country, he doesn't know about it. So that's called any yadua, but the sale is going to be a sale. Tani nami like Rabbi Yochanan.
That's a machlokas.
That's machlokes. And now we bring a brisa like Rabbi Yochanan. Tani nami yachi, like Rabbi Yochanan said, Elu shein shein yaduin kol shesheves kan v'naflo nechasim medina sayam. That she's in one country and she got a Yerusha in a different country. He doesn't know about it. The Gemara says 3 lines from the bottom. Ahi itza story. Ahi itza the boya the tavrichinu lenichsam gavra. There was a woman that wanted to word like bricha. She wanted to escape. Maybe the better word than that. She wanted to escape her property from her husband. She's getting married a second time. This happens. People get married a second time and they have property, and she doesn't want the property to go to her husband. She has second marriage, not the same as the first. So
she has children.
What?
She has children.
And she has children, and she doesn't want it to go to the husband. And really, he has rights to it. If she marries and she comes with the chassan, if she dies in his lifetime, then he gets the Yerusha, and it's lost from her children. So she didn't want it. So what did she do? Kesavtinu librata. She wrote she wrote her
Sounds like
estate
your
to her
children.
daughter. She gave away her property to her daughter. This way, it's not hers. So she gets married, and then if she dies, the husband's not going to inherit her. But the marriage didn't work out, and Siva Bigasha, she got married, and then she got divorced. She wants the property back. She goes to the daughter and say, "My lovely daughter, I gave it to you only because I didn't want my husband to get it. But now that it's over, I want it back." And the daughter said, "You gave it to me."
I'm sorry, the words
Not
again.
not a nice
The
scenario.
first word is giving,
Kaseftina, she wrote it over.
huh?
She wrote it over. She wrote it over
She
to her daughter.
wrote, yeah. She wrote
And
it
then she
over.
got married, and then she got divorced, and she wants the property back, and the daughter says, "You gave it to me."
So the Chachamim usually go by the side that the original idea is honored. That her only reason for doing it was.
Let's see.
How do you know this?
I've seen it in examples.
I'm not sure what the other examples, but this is, you're right over here. Here it says that. I saw you look of Nachman.
Wait, so
We
we,
come
in
across.
terms, once she got divorced,
She,
the story, we don't.
it's
we
understood
fill it
that
in,
it's,
but
yeah,
She wanted
right.
it back.
She wanted it back, and the daughter didn't want to give it back.
Okay,
I saw the Kamed of Nachman. They came before of Nachman, and the daughter had a contract that my mother gave me. She gave me over the Nechassim. Kamed of Nachman the show. He tore it up.
Wow.
In other words, he said that it goes to the mother. Azal Rabbanan, remember Rabbanan?
No fooling around.
He messes people up. He tells
Also-
people off. It's crazy.
Azal Rabbanan lekamed Marukva. So Rabbanan, he wasn't happy about that. We had Rabbanan once before, and he went to Marukva to complain. Marukva was a bigger dayan than Rav Nachman. He was like the Rosh Bezdin. So he went to Rabbanan to complain. Look what Rav Nachman was doing. Amalei Chazima, Nachman Chaklo, Hechim Makar Shtar. Look at Nachman, the farmer.
That was not.
That he's tearing up people's contracts. How do you do that? Like you could-
Unbelievable.
So Rabbanan also was tough. Rashi says like any book, like his Amoritz kind of thing, like what is this that he's tearing up people's contracts? Amalei, easy. Tell me exactly what happened over there. What was the story? They caught up as person star. He probably had a reason. What was the story? We had this contract. We had this expression before that Samach Tes also Marukva said it, and we said easy. The word easy is like efo. In Kane efo zosasu, it's not exactly translatable, but it means like tell me the details. What happened exactly? Amalei. He told the story that there was a mother with a daughter, and she wrote it over, and then she wanted it back. Amalei shtam of brachas come. We talk about a shtam of brachas. Brachas means to run. I don't have a nice English word, to escape it. That's not the way to say it, is it? You want to escape somebody. How do you do that?
like to flee away.
Yeah, tell somebody to escape. How do you say to help to make somebody run away?
Evade, maybe.
Okay, thank you.
Very good.
So this is a contract of evasion.
Right.
It means everybody understands that the only reason why she wrote it to the daughter is because she wanted to evade her husband.
Like that.
Shmuel said, Mora Rani, I paskin. If someone going to get such a kind of an evasive contract, I'm going to tear it up. And that's Rav Nachman was right. Rav Nachman is right to tear it up.
Owning a farmer or whatever.
Yeah, he wasn't a farmer. He was Rav Nachman, and he was right.
What happened to Maruk? He was.
Maruk said so. Maruk was the one. He's the one who said that he's right.
Oh, he's right.
Rav Nachman, Rav Onan was complaining about
Right.
Rav Nachman to Marukva, and Marukva said, that, "What do you want? He's right.
Exactly.
That he's supposed to tear it up."
And Shmuel said that. Then
Shmuel, Marukva quoted Shmuel.
Oh, okay.
That's what it says.
A few weeks ago, the knocked off Rabbi Nan, and he came and gave him a real.
Not exactly. Not the Rav Nachman over there. There you had that Rav Onan treated Rav Huna as his friend. My friend Huna, and Rav Huna was upset about that. And he said something, he sent a message to Rav Huna, and then Rav Huna went to Marukva, also went to Marukva, and said, "Look what Rav Huna said to me." So he said, no, it goes to Marukva. And then Marukva over there told him, "You're wrong, that, he's right, and you're wrong."
Everybody agrees to this.
Oh, initially, Rabbi Maruk was knocking off.
Marukva, this was the where?
No, he said, who's this?
Rav Nachman,
Yeah, he had a trainer on Rav Nachman.
Rav Onan.
Oh, it was Rav Onan? It was
It's not the second line. Second line. Rav Onan went to Marukva, and he complained. So Marukva said, he's right.
Right.
Amalei Rabbi Rav Nachman. Time of the mind the low shavik inish nafshei v'yav lachmi. Rabbi said it's not to Rav Nachman. It's not, maybe it's not the same thing. Well, how come we say always that when someone writes an evasive contract, he didn't mean it because he wouldn't have given his proper way to a stranger.
With Shavik.
Shavik, to leave. A person doesn't leave himself and give to somebody else. Means why would somebody give away his property? obviously only because he wanted to evade the husband. But maybe only to a stranger, but to her daughter, maybe she meant it. And now she's having second thoughts, but she meant to give it as a full present to the daughter.
Or if she died, she would be happy that. the
Right,
daughter
right,
died.
right,
So
right.
she only was
Right.
unhappy on one half of the
Right,
occurrences,
which-
but if the
right.
other way, then she would want it to go.
Right,
She
that's
meant
probably
it.
what the Gemara means, that
Yeah.
the regular stranger, what does she gain by giving it away?
Right.
Anyway, she's gonna lose it, but over here, maybe she meant it, because on the side that she is gonna die first, she did want her daughter to have it, so maybe even if she gets divorced, she wanted it as a full present. Gemara says, no, a person does prefer themselves more than their daughter.
What's
So-
brata?
Brata means a daughter.
In the place of a daughter,
That one,
she
The one
prefers
prefers
herself.
herself more.
Mhm.
She prefers not to die.
You're right. The daughter has to wait.
She
her
knows she
turn.
prefers her mother.
Not
I mean,
her stuff.
she didn't give it as a full present, she only gave it on the side, and she didn't mean to give it.
Not the daughter.
Can you say the words again?
Where? Which
Well,
one?
She's never get it.
No, you're right.
She just shut him down.
Oh, that's tell me what was the exact story? The word easy, I'm not translating, just saying the word is afo. Tell me, afo, what was the exact story? I'm not translating, easy is not, the word easy is not so easy. It's not so simple what the word easy means.
What do they say now? Tell me now.
I'm not sure if that's, I don't know where they got it from. Some say it means friend, tell me my friend. That's not so clear. I think they found that it is a translation of the word afo. Like in Kane afo zosasu, which is also not so translatable.
Which word? Which word?
Easy, this word. Yeah. This word.
Go easy.
And the simon is whether it said it's not easy.
It's not easy.
Okay, I don't know if you pronounce, maybe you pronounce it easy. I don't know if you pronounce it even. Okay, there was a kasha mesve. There was a kasha on this whole thing about the evasive contract. Someone wants to evade her property from her husband, which is the case we're talking about. She's getting married and she doesn't want her new husband to inherit her if she dies. Case that was. So what does she do? Shlomo Gamliel says, well, to do what we did, that you write a shtar pasim. Rashi says a shtar pasim is what we just talked about. Shtar piyusim, that you convince. Rashi says you convince the recipient to take it. You convince the recipient to take it, and you don't really mean it. It means that, which for me, like we said, the shtar of brachas, you make a contract, you're giving it to somebody, and it's really not true, and you'll get it back. But
Like payes? Or?
that's what Rashi says, like appease.
Mhm.
But why do you have to appease? Because I'm convincing somebody to take the contract as if he's getting a present and he's really not. The Chachamim Omrim, no, the recipient could keep it. The recipient may laugh at her. Means if you gave it to somebody, so they could, and then she comes back and wants it back, she could laugh and say, no, it's mine. You gave it to me. If she makes a condition in the contract, if I want, means I'm giving it to you when I want. So then she made a clause that she could always fall back on and say, I don't want. If she wrote in the contract, I'm giving it to you when I want.
This was a field or something.
Whatever her estate. She's giving her estate away to somebody in order to avoid her husband from inheriting her. So he writes to somebody else a contract and he writes, I'm giving it to you from today when I want. So it's only when he wants.
Why can't you just write when I die?
Mhm. It doesn't mean after I die because then it's too late. The husband already inherited. But 5 minutes before I die, like any will we do nowadays, the will and the halachic will would say that it's going to take effect 5 minutes before I die.
Okay.
So why doesn't she do that? To give it away. Maybe she also didn't want the husband to get the payers meanwhile. Maybe that also would have avoid that also.
Is this also second marriage or this is?
No,
not
it could be a first marriage also, but usually, okay, no real. Here she had a daughter, but it's obviously was second marriage.
But
So-
what I want means
When I agree, so Rashi says now she's in power. If the husband comes to
do
take
anything
it,
with it.
then she
She can say,
says
"Now I
I want. And if the buyer comes to say I want it, I don't want. If the buyer
But
comes
if
to
she
say you
said-
gave it to me, not the buyer, the recipient comes to say you gave it to me, so she says no. It says only if I want. I don't want. The Gemara says so.
If she can play both ends.
I don't know if she could juggle back and forth. Once she
Well,
agrees to the
because if the
sale, then
buyer,
it's a
if the
sale.
husband does something and she says, I gave it away, then and then she gets divorced, how could she take it back?
I'm not. I hear. I'm not sure. The Gemara asks, if according to Chachamim, the Chachamim say you have to put this clause in. Time with the kasvalei, hachi alo kasvalei, hachi kanani lokeach. The Brisa says that according to the Chachamim, Reb Shimon Gamliel, you're right. But the Chachamim say that only if you made this clause. If you didn't make the clause, then you can't take it back. It goes to the buyer. You could lay up. That there's a difference if she gave everything away. Did she give away her whole estate? If she gives away her whole estate, that shows that
She's not serious, but
she's not serious. She wants it back. No one wants to give away the whole estate. But if she left something for herself, that means that why is she holding on to something? Because she did give it away for keeps. And therefore, she kept something for herself. So there's a difference. If she gave away everything, then she could take it back. And that's what Shmuel meant, that she could take it back. If she left something, then she has to write this kisharetza. That if she wants to make it, then she makes a clause in order to get it back, or else it is going to be gone because she left something for herself. If she left something for herself, so that shows that she meant it as a permanent gift. The word asked the kasha that we could have asked, if this thing is not serious, in any case where the kolkeach does not have a right to get it, so then the husband should get it. It means it wasn't. You can't fool her. It means she can't fool him? How could she fool him? She gives it away, but it's not really a sale. It's not really a present. So then, how come the husband doesn't yash? The whole thing is a fake. If we say that the whole thing is really a joke, so then she can't steal from the husband. The Gemara is legitimizing it. What's legitimate about it? If she made a contract as if she's giving it away to somebody, but she's not really giving it away, so then the husband really has rights to it. How could she evade the husband in a tricky way? I say, start off, is it a trick or not? It sounds like it's only a trick, but she's stealing from the husband. The Gemara says, Amar Abaye, Asom in the Chasim Shen Yedu and Labal, Reb Shimon. It's a legal loophole because we said that the wife, if she sells the Nechasim after the marriage, back to the chart again, this last case, that she's married and she sells the Nechasim, is it a sale or not? So it says that if the husband does not know about it, so it's a good sale to the Mishnah. Shimon says that only if the husband knows about it, it's not a good sale. But if he does not know about it, then the it is a good sale. So by doing this trick, she makes the husband not know about it. Sometimes you don't know about it because it's in overseas. Here, it's right in front of him, but he thinks that the sale is a good sale. He thinks that she sold it. According to that, that's enough to make it lo yadua. That makes that he doesn't know that the wife has. He thinks that the wife doesn't have nechasim. If the wife doesn't have nechasim, even though that was a trick, but that's a legal loophole. She made the husband think that it doesn't belong to her, and therefore her sale is a good sale. Silence.
why he thinks that it does?
He thinks that it
She
works.
has property.
She has property, and
what?
she's telling her husband, "I'm going to write." Before she gets married, she tells her husband that I'm
So
signing
you're
it
talking
over.
about the orange now?
This case. This case. Okay, it happens to be this case, you're right? It happens to be this case. Also, we pass all these cases are red, right?
Yeah.
All these cases are red. So if she sells it, if she would have sold it over here, then surely would have been good. That's interesting. If she would have
She's
sold
saying
it.
in front of her husband that she's selling it.
But the case is that she's really not right. She sold it. Even let's say she sold it before. Let's say she sold it
This
over
is
here.
not, she's
In
giving
the
it to
normal
her
case, she
daughter.
sells it to her daughter. She gives it to her daughter before she gets married. So the husband thinks that it's gone. He thinks
So
that it's
that's the
gone.
big case. Oh,
Right.
before she gets married.
Before she
Okay.
gets married, she thinks so. Her husband thinks that it's gone. So now according to Shimon, she may sell it. If she sold it, she may not sell it. But if she sold it,
It's a good sale.
it's a good sale. So it could be that it's a legal loophole, but it's only with the evidence. Maybe we wouldn't tell her to do this, but if because she's not allowed to sell it, just because there's no yadua. But if she did, the sale is good, even though it's not really a sale. She really the chasim she'enu you're doing, the husband doesn't have rights to, and therefore, if she made that sale, and what ends, she ends up dying. So we'll go to her daughter.
Did we say this is
Or
all
she
of her
gets the
property, or we were through with the all of her part of her property?
We said that it's true that it's aimed at the din of Avrachas that she gets it back is only if she gave away all of her property. So she gave away all of her property. She gave away all of her property to her daughter. And
Yeah.
the question was if she could take it back if she gets divorced. The boy says that she could take it back. She could take it back from the daughter, but it's the fact that the husband thinks that it's a good sale that makes that the husband should not get it. More or less. That's your everybody. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll be back in a few minutes with Hilchos Yom Kippur.
We got up to the